I will now introduce our next speaker, who is just lovely, from the US, Coni Meyers. She is a serious force of nature herself. You will find she has extensive experience and expertise in crisis management. So you'd need to have some calm, wouldn't you? She is a true leader. She's made her own renowned figure in this field. She's a 6 times international best-selling author and speaker. She's dedicated to ensuring that individuals and communities are well prepared during times of disaster. And I love this whole space that she's in, because it is so important. Because if you're not feeling safe in a disaster, fear kicks in. And when you have fear in your life, oh my goodness, everything unravels. So she is a tireless educator and supporting thousands of individuals and businesses into how to be more prepared for crisis management. I'm going to hand over to you now, Coni.
Annie, thank you so much for that absolutely amazing introduction. And to all of these ladies that have already come on, are just absolutely phenomenal. I have to really thank you for being able to provide this really great platform for Grit and Grace. I actually call the Grit and Grace crystalline moments that always create great gifts and opportunities. I used to say I was like a cat with 9 lives. I had 9 different careers. In reality, everything I've been doing since my mid-20s has been training for what I'm doing today. I spent 7 years as a FEMA inspector and trainer. I saw firsthand over 50 disasters that I did, how unprepared people were. And if they're unprepared for disasters, they're also unprepared for other types of crisis in their lives. My goal is to help them become more prepared and more sustainable. I formed the Crisis Knowledge Management Preparedness Foundation about a year and a half ago. And I founded it because I had had a for-profit where I was trying to train people to become community leaders and go out and provide information to their community so that everybody could be prepared. And there's something that FEMA calls the preparedness procrastination, in that adults all know that this is something that they need to do, but it's also something that they don't think they have time to do. So I designed a nonprofit with a mission to help 30 million people be better prepared and more sustainable. And I'm starting my first initiative, which we just announced in June, is called Kits for Kids. The one thing we can all agree around the world is that we want to protect our kids. And here, just like many other places, kids are in trouble right now. So what better way to get the word out about being prepared and being sustainable than helping our kids? So we've put together a kit for kids. It's a small kit that fits in the bottom of their backpack, and it goes with them to school, the playground, the music lessons, the sporting events. It goes everywhere with them. And then while we are showing them how to use the kit, we also are explaining to the parents about the emergency kit that they think they should have, but most don't, and what needs to go into that. And then when there is a disaster, all they have to do is pull out the little kit that's in their backpack, their everyday backpack, and put it in their emergency kit. And they'll have basically 40% of everything they need to go. Think about, there's been so many children around the world, not just in the United States, that have died because they're the most vulnerable. They're the most vulnerable of all. My journey in all this actually started in 2011 when my husband passed away. He'd been sick for about 6 months. And once he passed, I was always a workaholic. It was about 2 months later, I decided to jump in and be able to go back to work. I called my partners. I said, I'm ready. I'm going to come back. And I called some of our clients, and it was like I was having this out-of-body experience. The conversation was here, and I'm over here looking at it. I'm not engaging. And after a few months, I figured out that the life I had known was gone, and I had to find a new life. I had been going to a church that was put together by Mary Morrissey, and she turned into be one of my best mentors. She also has an organization called Life Mastery Institute, but her real claim to fame is she was the president of the United Nations Peace Initiative for a couple of years. She worked with the Dalai Lama and Nelson Mandela, and she's turned out to be a wonderful inspiration for me to move forward with everything that I'm doing. She was a part of the encouragement for me to write the book, my first book, called Crystalline Moments. There's always good crystalline moments and bad crystalline moments. Obviously, my husband passing away at the time appeared to be a bad one, but I can tell you, because of all the gifts and opportunities, I thank him every day for the gift that he gave me in his passing. We celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary just 4 days before he passed. And I can tell you that I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't know Annie Gibbins. I wouldn't know any of you if he had not passed. So I thank him every day for the gift that he's given me. I had 3 crystalline moments when I was 10 years old. And they affected me for the next 50 years of my life. I was very, very sick as a kid. I had a very rare kidney disease, and most children didn't make it past 16. I had been in and out of hospitals, and my mom worked for a company that the owners were huge contributors to the Mayo Clinic. So they paid for me to go to the Mayo Clinic. I got there, they said that they had caught it in time, that yes, I was going to have some treatments, but it was going to be okay. I had to spend one night in the hospital, and it was a night that I'll never forget. I can think about that night as clear as if it was yesterday. I went into this room. There was another young girl in the room with me. She was 14. She died at 16 from the same rare kidney disease that I had. At the time, my 10-year-old brain said, I've got to be really, really good. And what that equated to for the next 50 years is bringing in every 2-legged stray, every 4-legged stray, much to the chagrin of my family and sometimes much to the demise of all of us. What I realized when I was writing Crystalline Moments is that it wasn't that I wanted to be really, really good. I was afraid of dying. So what I've done is I've taken that fear and I've turned it into action. A few days later, I'm back from the Mayo Clinic. I went to a 1-room schoolhouse. There was a total of 9 kids in the entire school. But because of my disease, I would wet my pants. I was afraid of my shadow, and I had started stuttering. I had to get up in front of the entire school, all 9 of them, and give a story report. I stood there, I stuttered, I stammered, I was mortified. But I sat down, and the teacher stood up and said, do you know who has the highest IQ in this school and who had just gave the worst story report? What that did to me for the next 50 years, it created a horrific workaholic. It cost me 2 marriages. And it became such a problem for me that every time I would get a reward, I was getting all kinds of awards and recognition. And every time I did, I'd have to work that much harder because I didn't feel like I deserved it. After writing Crystalline Moments, I realized that those were successes that I had, and I needed to learn to celebrate those successes. The third one happened about 3 or 4 months later. I'm laying in our yard. Mom had all kinds of beautiful smelly flowers and everything. And I'm looking up the sky and I'm thinking about all the places I'm going to travel to. And all of a sudden I have this thought. I was on a farm in Nebraska. All of a sudden I had this thought, oh my God, I'm going to marry a farmer, have a dozen kids and never leave Nebraska. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a farm wife, believe me. However, that was not my plan for my life. And after writing Crystalline Moments, I realized that I needed to be grateful for every single accomplishment, because what I had done is every time things would start getting a little bit smooth, I would stir stuff up to make sure that it didn't. Mary taught me that in order for you to manifest where you want to go, you have to have a clear vision. And the thing that she taught me is you have to come from a vision. You can't go to it. In order to come from it, you have to become it. You have to step into it. So creating a vision, what is the vision you have a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? What do you want for your relationships, your health, your time and money freedom, your career or creative expression? Write those things down and then realize what does sensorize them? What does it feel like, taste like, smell like, look like, sound like? And then, how are you walking out of the door in the morning? What are you listening to? Who are you surrounding yourself with? It's 5 years from now. What does your life look like now? That is how you come from a vision. So what is it that all of a sudden you can do? Well, the first thing is you have to be able to take that and move it forward. And I can tell you that with CKMP Preparedness Foundation, I had this vision. And now I have over 40 people, hugely successful, mindful purpose people that are joining me in this journey of helping kids and protecting kids. And they're coming to me because of the vision that I had and the belief that I can celebrate all our successes and be grateful and gratitude for everything that we've accomplished. Crystalline Moments show me every single day the opportunities, and they just keep coming. So what you want to do is you want to create a clear vision that you come from. You also want to be a kick butt leader. Now, what do I mean by that? Quick butt means mindfulness, when mindfulness meets vision, opportunity, and engagement. That is how all of us are coming together through the nonprofit. We're all coming together. We're looking at the gifts, we're looking at the opportunities, and we're finding ways to create a vision for all of us. And the more we celebrate and the more that we are grateful, another word for grace, by the way, every single moment we are creating, it brings new crystalline moments to all of us. So how do you do well by doing good? By taking all of these ideas and everything that I've talked about here, and realizing that 87% of consumers in the United States, I'm not sure if this is true around the country, but it certainly is, or around the world, but it certainly is here. 87% of consumers are going to choose a business or a service based upon what a company's culture is, and also what their cause is. So find a cause you're passionate about, create that vision, step into those crystalline moments that always give you gifts and opportunities. And every single time, they will help you get into your passion. Thank you so much, Annie. It's been a pleasure being here.
Thank you, Connie. That was amazing. I just felt your gratitude for the opportunity, actually. So here you are, your message is lean in and do one thing and try something. And, you know, that's right. Everyone has that opportunity to have a non-profit or something else. But then I also heard this message of incredible gratitude for the times that you've had, the experiences that you've had, that you're now leaning into, and for all of us, and particularly those young ones who are coming on board, we don't want to wait 50 years to get these revelations. Oh my gosh, some of us older girls going, oh yeah, that's right, these light bulb moments went on when I was like 40, 50, 60, 70. And you know, we all have our own walk and our own journey, but the earlier we can tap into that, you know, the being too good just because we were raised to be this, you know, good enough, perfect child, you know, definitely, you know, in your situation, don't want to die. You want to do everything possible, but sometimes that can then result in self-sacrificing, self-sabotaging behavior. It gets very, very complicated.